I am going to start today this webinar on visa orientation. The visa orientation is the most important point as a part of going to abroad for higher education, especially for US. So we really want to make sure that all of you, all students, learn how they can succeed in the visa interview. So I will be starting up and I'll wait for next 2 more minutes to see how many others can make it. I can see a good strength, but let me just wait for say 2 to 3 more minutes to see if we have more students coming in. But I would like to start up with saying that what I'm going to start up today, what I'm going to talk about. So today you can see on your screen there are a couple of things today which I'm going to talk to you about. So continue to read this and I'll be back shortly in 2 minutes of time. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm back and I can see there are many students who joined in recently. Okay, thank you so much for everyone for joining today. I would like to start. Um, so my name is Abbie, and I am the visa instructor. I have been seeing that what exactly is required as a student to go and get succeed in the visa interview. So I would like to start up with today's session, and probably going to take not more than half an hour for you all guys to learn that what it's all about F1 student visa and how you can get succeed in the visa interview. So today, what I'm going to talk about an overview is before any student is going and applying for visa, they should know what a student visa F1 is, and preparing to apply for an F1 student visa. A Section 214B of the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act 291 burden of proof. If you have been rejected recently with your visa, so you guys might know what 214B is. Article from US Embassy website, Student and Exchange Visitor Program, which is called as SEVP, and recommended documents to take to the visa interview, visa question and answer practice, the port of entry USA, the welcome arrival, which everyone would like to go, with, and the visa tips. So I'd like to start up with the session by introducing you all you guys that what is a student visa. So student visa is called as an F1 visa. So everybody who is going for higher education in the United States, so they have to have the F1 student visa if they are going for an academic program, M1 visa if they are going for a non-academic program, which can be called as vocational program. So everybody who is here presented today is going on F1 student visa. So F1 student visa is going to be an academic visa. So one second. So two classification of visas are available for international applicants. The one who would like to go on a permanent visa can be considered as and can be known as H1B visa or H1 visa. The temporary visa is B1, B2 visa or F1 visa. So as you all are going on F1 visa, that's a temporary visa. And the temporary visa can be granted to those who come for a purpose of study, whether it is for a high school, undergraduate or graduate program. So when you are going on an F1 visa, this is called as a non-immigrant visa. It is called as a non-immigrant visa because it's a temporary visa. Okay, so visa grant or refuse. So before I start up with this slide, would like to make sure that you guys understand that there are a couple of things. We are not here to tell you, we are not here to give you guidance on what you should answer, but we are here to give you the basics of a visa. So how you can be granted visa, how you can get succeed in your visa interview. For this, you really need couple of things to know, and you really need to convince the visa officer, because as a visa officer, the visa officer sees this 3 or 4 points in you. When you go for a visa interview, your grant or refusal will be dependent on, is this an honest student? So you should be considered as, yes, you are a student who is very honest. Is this a serious student? When I say serious student, that means the visa officer look in you that whether you are a serious student and you have a clear intention of studying there, or you are going there for any other purpose. Does this applicant have sufficient funds? Everybody who is going to United States, they should have the sufficient funds to sponsor not only their higher education but their living expenses. If you do not meet the requirements, there will be no visa. So you guys need to make sure that the I-21 page talks about the 9 month or 12 months, 9 months or 12 months. That's something you guys need to know. Does the student have a sufficient ties to the home country? I'm sorry. Does this student have sufficient ties to do the home country, and that will ensure his or her return after graduation? That's the most important point a visa officer look in you. They want to make sure that you guys have a sufficient ties, that you would like to come back home, like family, economic, employment, social and economic emotional ties. So if you are going, as in my previous slide talks about, you're going on a temporary visa, you need to show them why you would be returning back home. If students do not talk about their coming back plans, if they are failed to prove the family, economic, employment, social and emotional ties, then their visa can be refused. Now when I say, is this an honest student? Okay, so is this an honest student? So one of the universal values shared by all culture and humankind is truthfulness. So every student, Seems there are some issues with the slide. Hang on for a second so that I can help you. I'm not sure. Can you see the screen now? I'm not sure if you guys can, see the screen because in my other computer I can see that the screen is not visible. So give me a second to fix this. I'm so sorry about that. Well, sorry about that. Seems there was some issue with this webinar, I mean the screen. So the example of being truthful, I mean, how you can prove yourself that you are a truthful student. The examples are the officer might ask you, why did you select this school? Often students will erroneously believe that it is easy to get a visa if they apply to a well-known school. So they will answer the question, I selected it because it's a famous school. The truth might be that the applicant has a friend there or a family member nearby because of the school has offered a financial aid. Applicants should answer truthfully rather than claim that the school is famous, especially if it is a school that the visa officer has never heard of. So truthfulness is something that when you talk about your banking documents, your CA reports, about schools, every student needs to prove that they are truthful in terms of their answering. If they do not being truthful, if they are not answering, they might lead to a permanent eligibility. Okay, is this a serious student? The great majority of international applicants who apply for F1 visa, and they are applying because they sincerely want to complete the course of study, okay, to which they have been accepted by the American school. So the serious student generally will have a good marks in academics, sufficient resources, good English skills, available to pay for his or her education, the financial, and a reasonable plan for a career after graduation. Giving an example like university, the visa officer might ask that, what do you know about university? Even if you are going for a visa interview, and even if you are not knowing that which university you are going, and if you know the university name, you do not know any history or accreditation of the university, you do not know how many international students are studying there, if you are not even knowing that what will be your fee you gotta pay, that's a sign of a non-serious student. To be very honest with me, none of those students made it if they really do not even know themselves about the university. Today I interviewed one student this morning, and when I was talking to him which university you are going, and he doesn't know other than the university name. So visa officer easily catch you if you have no GRE, no GMAT, no IELTS, no TOEFL, you know nothing. Then yes, you are really not going there for study, and that's one of the biggest reasons students don't get the visa, and then they blame some other students or consultancy. Hey, I've done best, but no, you have not done best because you didn't prove the visa officer that you are a serious student. So everybody who's listening to me, you gotta make sure that you have learned a lot about the school, the faculty, not even one school, but research at least five schools. So because majority of the time, the visa officer asks you how many other university you've applied for. So you can say I've researched couple of schools, tell them the name, and then and and in this serious question, you have to be truthful. It means when I interviewed today, there was a student who told me I applied to iGlobe University. I said, where is iGlobe? He said California. So visa officer know first of all there is no university name of iGlobe, and if it is iGlobal, it's not in California. So if you are lying, that means you haven't applied. If you haven't applied and if you are lying, you will not get the visa. Okay, examples of non-serious student. So what is a typical weather where the university is located? I'm not sure. How many students are currently in MBA? No, quite a few. What are the names of any professor and where did you get their degrees? I can't think of any. How many courses are you required to take to get your degree? I believe quite a lot. How many years will it take it for you to graduate? I think it says somewhere here on the I-20 form. These are the questions which generally visa officer ask, and if the students are not even sure what will be the weather like, how many MBA students are studying already there, do they know of any professor, do they know the course curriculum, don't they know when they're gonna complete their program, it means no, you can't get the visa for sure. Does this applicant have sufficient funds? So immigration law, it is something requires legally an immigration law that is requiring every international student who are applying for a study visa, they should have the enough sufficient funds. If they have nothing, but they should at least have the first year of academic year of study, first year of funds of living and tuition fee, and a plan that how they will fund the second year. That's the minimum requirement, but it is generally preferred that whatever is mentioned in your I-20 into 2 should be at least you should have. The next is, which is the most important, is at the time of initial interview for an F1 visa, the intent of student must not be to go to US and try to stay there. If you are going for on a permanent basis or you wish to go for a permanent basis, we would certainly will ask you to do that, but go and apply on a H1 permanent visa. But if you're applying on an F1 visa, you should prove that yes, my intention is to go on a temporary basis because my visa requires me to get there on a temporary basis, and I will prove that I have a family, economic, employment, social and emotional ties which will ask me to come back to India. And if you say this, you get the visa. So that's the highest requirement that every visa officer would like to know, that you have a ties and your purpose of going to the United States is temporary, and after your degree you would like to come back home. So everybody who's listening to me, please make sure to talk about these ties, whether they ask you or they don't ask you. Tell them that I have these ties, an example of those ties. Okay, now the ones who cannot prove that they will be returning back to home, okay, they guess a visa refusal under section 214b. Now what is this 214b? So section 214b of the US Immigration and Nationality Act, INA Act 291, is known as a burden of proof. Now what is burden of proof? The burden of proof is, that means that every visa officer is told to believe that you are going to immigrate to US. So it will be your job to convince him or her that you do not intend to immigrate, but instead are wanting to go to the US and study for your master's or bachelor's, and you want to return to your home country and have the skills to enable you to get a better paying job. It means, I can give you an example, that every visa officer is looking at you thinking that you want to be an immigrant, you want to go on a permanent basis. Now it's your job to convince them that no, I want to go on a temporary basis. I really do not want to go there on a permanent basis. Even if you have some plans in your mind that you want to stay there, but it's all about convincing the visa officer. So every giving an example, every policeman is thinking that you are a thief. Once you get into the police station, they consider you as a thief, but it's your duty to explain them, to convince them that you are not a thief. Similarly, here the burden of proof is on the visa officer to think that you're going to be an immigrant. But what example, what answers do you have which will prove them and convince them that no, I have a temporary visit, temporary stay in the US, would like to complete my master's, come back home, I've got my family, I've got a better paying jobs here, I've got property here, I've got my relatives, friends, wife, children, everything. Okay, that's the sign that you will be returning back to home. Now, recommended documents to take to the visa interview: you should have your I-20 admission letter, receipt which shows that you have paid the $200 service fee, you were completed DS-160 form, the visa application fee, the Axis Bank, that Stanley form you should have, your or your sponsor bank statement, and it should be original. If you have a sponsor, then you should get an affidavit of support stating that yes, I will be sponsoring the student or my son or my daughter. The sponsor should be your blood relative. You should also have some additional documents like your transcripts of prior education and the documents explaining that the source of money. So everybody can show that they have got $30,000, $60,000 in their account, but you really need to show them that how, where this money has come from. So if it has been in your bank, if your parents are earning 10 lakh, 12 lakh, you should have the income tax return file. If you have a renting property, then you should come up with some agreement which proves that your parents or you are earning that much of amount. Printed school information, this is very important, because everybody who's going to one school, they don't much know about any information about their university. Try to download a brochure, or from their website try to download the courses, the fee structure, take the printout of them, and you can also prove them, yes, that I have the catalog from the university. Information regarding your plan for employment when you return to home your country after you graduate. This may be either a letter from a company or an employer promising you a job. It is important because it's an additional document, but this additional document can prove, because everybody who is going or who has gone is talking about, well, I want to come back home because I will get a better job. How you'll get a better job? That's the question. Well, I'll get a better job because I already have a letter from my employer, and he's saying that if I get a job, I mean, if I complete my master's, I will be given a job, and that will be from a huge salary. So even if not that, you can think and research about the jobs opportunities. So if someone is going for hospitality, he should talk about, I'm going to hospitality, and hospitality field in the recent article growing in 20%, and that's gonna help me to get a better job over here. I'm going for IT, and IT, every top MNCs are looking for US graduates to become, an IT analyst, a project manager, or team leader, and my salary can be hiked and designation can be hiked by this. If you have this, you are proving that you will have a better job. So it means you're not talking in air. So this is how a visa consulate looks like. So there will be a different booth. If you have ever gone to the railway station and where you have seen the inquiry booth, where you go and talk about your train, inquires about it, this is exactly the same scenario in the visa consulate. You will be sitting outside, they will be calling your barcode number, you will be going to counter number 1, 2, 3, 4, and there will be different students also at the same time, and you will be standing out, and then just like a visa officer is there standing and talking to the student, and asking them the question about, and I'll tell you what question they can generally ask you, and you are standing out and answering to the visa officer. You can see in this slide that the visa officer is holding the passport and the I-20. This is how they will be asking you to give you a passport and the I-20. The visa officer seeing you and the lady is smiling, so that proves that all you need to do is to answer them in a very friendly and smiling way, very confident. And once you have been approved visa, you will see your picture, just like you can see a lady there, and that's gonna be your visa stamping from the United States of America. So visa question and the answer. So we'd like to talk to you about what generally they ask you. Why do you want to go to school in the US? For which school are you applying? Major you are interested in. If the major you are applying is too different than what you have done in bachelor's, that means if someone has done BCom and now going for hospitality, they might ask, why are you changing your major? How did you find about the school for which you're applying? So it is very important that everybody say, I have researched this on internet. See, in internet, or on internet, you can see more than 4,500 university talk about exactly that, why and how you came to know about this university. And for God's sake, don't ever talk about, well, my friend recommended me, or few of my colleague or friends who have passed out from this university are in a good job. If you are just lying, they can say, tell me the name of the student who passed out, and they can check in their database. And if you found to be a non-truthful, again your visa will be rejected. So for that reason, you need to say truthfully what how you found that university. Please tell us why you picked the school and how you intend to use the degree you obtained from the school. What other school did you apply to or research? See, this is important, what other schools you applied, because it proves that if you have researched 10 schools, it means you are serious. When you go to shopper stop or buy shopping, you see 10 clothes and then you buy one, right? You don't see one cloth and buy it. If you are a serious buyer, you'll see sale in different brands, and then you'll buy one or two teas, let's say, for you. Similarly, when you're buying 1,000 rupee tees, you're looking 10 t-shirts. When you are spending your 30 to 50,000 dollars and you're not even looking for 2 to 5 different universities, how non-serious you are. For that reason, you not only need to know about your university, but you need to know about the other universities in the US. Why did you decide not to continue with any of this school? So it does mean that you need to talk about what good you found in your schools. If your school is a non-famous, it's a small private university, don't say that it is the best university in the US or in San Diego or in California or in Virginia or in Florida, but rather you talk about the courses, the professor, the diversity, the ratio, the small class size ratio, the weather. Instead of you talk about that, why are you not going to school in your home country? This is a very important question. That's something you can get in 8 lakh rupees in MBA here while you are spending $30,000. So you should answer in a way that yes, I can certainly get my degree here, but I'll not get the kind of steady education I'm gonna get in the US because I'll have 10 students from different countries with different culture, with different ethics are sitting in a one class, including American students. That's a full of hybrid class, which will explain me about getting a better knowledge, not only about my curriculum, but about how things in management and IT or CS or hospitality work in the different country. How is a degree from this school going to better your economic position? That's a question which proves that ties. So if you are a team leader, you'll become a project manager. If you are a project manager, you can become a CEO, CFO, COO. What kind of employment opportunities will be available for you when you return back to your home country? How much is your sponsor bank statement? How are you going to fund your second year of school? So these are the general question, and every question you can see here. Do you have documents, proof of where the money came from, who is contact person at the university, okay, and the information for the school which you're applying, what is your dream job after you graduate, any relatives in the US. To be very honest, if you have relatives in the US, if they are blood relatives, talk to them and say, yes, I do. There's no harm. Sometimes students try to hide about their relatives in the US, and this becomes a non-serious issue. So I want to tell you this, that if you have relatives, tell them I have. Okay, which year did you pass out from your bachelor's degree, your GRE, GMAT, TOEFL score sheet? What are your future plannings? And yes, what are your future plannings? Before this, every question I discussed here, it has something related to find in you that you are a truthful, a serious student, have sufficient funds, you will return back to home, you have home, economical, financial, job ties, social ties. If you do well, your visa will be approved. Visa approved doesn't mean that you have reached to your destination, which is US, but you really need to know that what you guys need to do right after you get your visa. Many students think that, if I have a visa, then of course I will, do this, I will do that, I'll tell everyone. But you guys need to make sure that right after you get visa, you need to know that there is one more hurdle which you need to cross, which is US port of entry. Now, what is US port of entry? So the student and exchange visitor program monitors the entry of 28 million non-immigrant visitors to the US every year. This is the recent data, but it is gradually going to increase. So if 28 million non-immigrant visitors are getting into the US every year, they want to make sure to deport students if they are coming up with nothing, if they are coming up with no preparation, if they have a valid visa but not sure where are they going, what their purpose is. So you guys, once you get your visa, report us back so that we can help you to prepare something for US port of entry. So preparing before you're traveling, you may apply for your F1 student visa up to 120 days in advance of the program start date noted on your I-20, but you may not enter the US more than 30 days in advance of that. Okay, so if your I-20 talk about your class is going to start from 1st of January 2016, then you cannot enter into the US 1st December 2015, and if you do, you will be sent back home. So these are the documents required for entry in the US. And yes, again, I will let you know later on that what documents are required to do in the US. And before I share the visa tips, I want to make sure that you guys who are the visa applicant, visa candidate, you are seeing a screen there. You can chat with us. I would welcome your questions there. Put whatever question you have. Whether it's your first time, second time, third time, it's a serious or a non-serious or an ugly question, don't worry. I will answer everything you have in your mind. But most important thing is for you guys to get the visa. So continue to write on chat what question you have. I'll be able to answer everything. But before I end up my visa orientation webinar, would like to tell you that the F1 visa tips are that purposely talk about your home country ties. As I said, you're going for a non-immigrant visa, which is a temporary visa. If you're going on a temporary visa, you should talk about why you would be returning back home, not simply by telling, well, I love my family, I'll come back home, I'll have a good job. No, but tell them how you'll get a good job. Tell them why you would return back to home. And you have to be concise with your answer, because the visa interview lasts for 2 to 5 minutes of time. All you guys need to do is to be concise with your answers. So if they ask you who is in sponsoring, my dad is in sponsoring and he's earning 10 lakhs per annum, and today the bank statement I'm showing is of 25 lakh. That's it. You have been concise with your answer, but you say, well, I am my parents who work in the firm, IT firm in HSBC software company in Hyderabad, high tech city, and it's 10 years he's been working there, and he's earning 6 lakh until last year, but now he is earning 10 lakh, and probably he's able to earn in next 5 years 15 lakh. And I'm showing that no, 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 this is not gonna work. The visa officer, they don't have that much of time to listen to your stories. So you have to be concise, you have to be confident, you speak for yourself. That means that you need to prove that you are prepared. Even if you do not have a GRE, GMAT, IELTS, TOEFL, you can be given the visa, but you guys need to make sure that you are prepared. So be confident and speak for yourself. Student will not answer like, well, I am going to US because I have applied for Schiller International University, but I want to get a good job in India, and I think I will get it in 2 years. Of course you're not proving to be a confident, not even you have a great communication skills, and even if you do not have a good GRE, GMAT, also full score, of course you're not worth to go to the US. So speak for yourself. That means that even if your English is not that correct, not that perfect, not that fluent, but you guys need to make sure that 2 to 5 minutes you speak for yourself. Just like Chak De India's dialogue, 70 minute hai tumhare paas. That similarly only 2 to 5 minutes you have. So you speak for yourself and speak in a way that you rock the world, and in that 5 minutes. So whatever question they ask you, all you need to answer, well, my name is this and I want to pursue my master's from Schiller International University, and because I've got 2 years of experience, I've decided to go abroad for higher education. Especially if I do it from US, I'll get the higher exposure, not only with the higher paying job, but I will be given a great designation. And because I'm going for an IT, and Hyderabad and Bangalore and Chennai are the IT hub, will get a great job here. If you speak in that way, you will get the visa. Maintaining a positive attitude, as I said, 214B burden of proof, you need to be convincing, and then why you will be coming back home. And specifically employment, future plans. Everybody is going there, everybody is going to United States to get succeed, right? Everyone needs a good job, everyone needs a good life, a luxury life, a better resignation. For this, you have to talk about what future plans, what kind of employment will be given to you. So that's it. If you have any questions, please do write down. I will be back in just 2 minutes, but I want to make sure that you put as many as question possible, because I've kept this 15 minutes of time just to talk to you guys regarding your specifically and particularly regarding your scenario, your case. So if you have not even been granted visa for one, second, third time, talk to me, write it here, and I'll be able to give the answers to every question. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me see how many questions are there.
Thank you very much, Abbie. It was really a great session. So we have the couple of questions asked by some of the students, and some students who doesn't write any questions. There is a chat box on your right hand side. You can ask any of the questions, whatever you have. Okay. If there are some consultant has joined this webinar, please do ask whatever the your students have any questions, so that Abby can let you know all the answers of those questions. So Abby, the first questions which we have uh, from the Ranjit Kumar, and he asked that why, if the visa officer asked, why did you select this university?
Okay, that's a very simple question, Mr. Ranjit Kumar. Thank you so much for this, but I want to make sure that you understand this. When you are going for this university, I want you to read about the university, read about the weather, read about the professor, read about the course curriculum. When I say course curriculum, and if you're going for an MBA, don't say MBA. Say in MBA, I am going to study 36 credit hours, which is including of 12 courses. In 12 courses, I'm going to study this, and this course is going to help me to do this, to do that. You need to talk about their accreditation, even if it is a small university. Not every student can get into the Howard or Yale or UC Berkeley. So every school, every small or big school require international students. Talk about talk about what you can get to know about the university. Try to do some communication with the professors over there who will take your exam, and then who will respond to your emails. Talk to them and say, see, I want to go, because this university has a great professor team and they are very supportive. I've already communicated. There's a sign of a serious student, and this is the reason they ask you why this university. And not only this university, try to learn about 3 to 4 universities also offers the same degree, same program. I hope I answered this question.
Okay, and the second question is asked by the Muhammad Furqan, and he asked that how he can show the tax return to the visa officer if he's already bringing the bank certificate.
Repeat that question again for me.
I mean to say the Muhammad is asking the question that if he bring the bank letter also, can he need to bring the tax return to the visa official to show that how much of amount their tax they have paid?
See, the question here is like the visa officer would like to see that you have maintained this in your bank statement. So if you even if you do not have a proof, that is okay, but you should have at least 6 months or 3 months of bank statement, which proves that yes, you can, simply uh, you have not borrowed it from someone, but it has been in your account, and you can utilize this amount for your higher education. The only way they check, and the reason they check, because they want to make sure that student have the sufficient funds. Even if you cannot prove the source of income, you should prove something which proves that that was your amount. You have not borrowed it from someone.
Okay. So the next question asked by the Divesh that if he's applying without IELTS, so there will be any issue.
See, again, as I said, Devesh, it's very important, and to every other student who's going for the you know uh, visa interview without IELTS TOEFL, you guys need to speak in a way that you look very confident. Even if you have 7.5 bands, and if you could not even speak in front of visa officer, there's no way you'll get the visa. So what is important here is like even if you do not have an IELTS score, speak in that way that it looks like you are a very fluent, even if you did not get a chance to write it. But if you would have written, you should have get 7.5 band. That impression a visa officer should have on you.
Okay. The other questions we have from Divesh again, that if we only apply to the one university, so it will be any problem?
See, again, it will not be a problem if you're only applying to one school because majority of the student apply to only one or two school. And anyway, when they apply to 10 school, they can go in one school only. But you need to prove that you have researched a lot. So, Nivesh, for whichever university you are going, let's say if you're going for International American University, but if you are going to any school, you are talking about other schools also, and those other schools you have also studied about, you have learned about, you know their processing fee, you know their tuition fee, you know their living expense, and the location of the university. But it means you should have an idea. If you are applying to only one school, that won't be a problem, but you should know about five schools there.
Okay. So after that, Ranjit Kumar has asked the question that his father is the forest department and they are earning only around 4 lakhs something. So is there any problem if they have the low liquid cash with them?
See, it is irrelevant of how much your father is earning, but what is important is that how much amount do you have. If you show that you already have 2 years of living expense, 2 years of tuition fee, then these officers don't mind giving you the visa, no matter whether your father earns it all or not. So what is important here is like you should prove that you have enough sufficient balance for your study and for your living expense for the entire stay and entire tuition fee. That's it.
Okay, the Gaurav asked the question that he has finished his education in 2012 and he's working with his father and now he's applying to the USA school. So is there any problem because there will be a 3 years of gap?
That's okay. Many students go with a years and years of gap, but it is important, as I said, that why this degree is required. Again, the same question is like, why did you, if you're already working with your parent, why did you select now to go for your higher education? So the best answer can come out from this that I have been working with my dad and I have learned a lot. But there are a couple of things which are missing, and I found that I can easily learn that if I do and study in this university because this university offers those curriculum which I'm lacking in me.
Okay. If any of the other students have any questions, please write it back. We have another 10 minutes with us. Okay. So whatever the questions you have, you can ask. You can just write it over the chat line, and Abby can clear all your doubts. So another question came that so the student has finished the B and but from last 3 years is working in hotel industry. So I think is there any problem or there will be no problem?
But if you're going for hospitality, if you're going for the relevant thing, then yes, you can certainly say that I get this, but I am in this field, but I would like to continue to study in this field. But if you have changed and getting back again for the IT after your BE or some other program, it's all about you convincing them. See, you can go for any program you want or whatever you have studied. But if you keep on changing your stuff, that means you are a non-serious. That's the impression students get. So what I am telling you is like the way you can answer. It should look like very sincerity you have in you and you want to study. So no matter you are a B and you're studying in hospitality, but if you are going in this further education, you can continue to talk about that.
Okay, Abby, I think this is all. We have the questions here. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much,
much.
students. It was really nice session. So, if any students having any doubts, there will be a telecall will happen. Okay, before your visa date, so that they will let us know if you have any further questions. Thank you very much, Abby.
Thank you so much,
It's
sir.
really great. And tomorrow
All the
we have
best,
a
everyone.
festival, so happy Ganesh Chaturthi, and all the best for your visa. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.